What is going on, guys? Grave here. Today I'll talk about the ultimate changes coming with update 47. Now this is from the week 1 public test server patch notes, so this is subject to change. But this was another one that I know a lot of people in the community really didn't like. I kind of wondered if something like this was going to happen, honestly, with people being able to get their ultimate so quickly on some DPS builds. But at the same time, it really hurts support builds, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and hop right into it and talk about what they have changed here. They said the following passives granted unique forms of ultimate when meeting their conditions have been converted to granting major or minor heroism to prevent them from stacking with one another. The total amount of ultimate granted will be identical but will not stack with additional sources and will take more time to generate. So just keep in mind, all of these passes have been changed from giving you some type of ultimate bonus to now just giving you or granting you minor or major heroism. So Mountain's Blessing is now going to be moved to 1.5 and 4.5 seconds with a 6-second cooldown rather than the 2 to 3 ultimate with a 6-second cooldown. Transfer is going to give you 1.5 to 3 seconds with a 4-second cooldown rather than the 1 or 2 ultimate there with the 4-second cooldown. Catalyst is going to grant 7.5 and 15 seconds rather than 15 and 30 ultimate. Prism is going to grant 1.5 and 3 seconds rather than the 1 and 2 ultimate. Savage Beast is now going to grant 3 and 6 seconds rather than the 2 and 4 ultimate. Corpse Consumption is now going to grant 7.5 and 15 seconds rather than the 5 and 10 ultimate. And then, of course, Outcome is now going to grant 3 and 6 seconds rather than the 2 and 4 ultimate. So they kind of went ahead and kind of mentioned the reason they were doing this in a developer comment. It says, over time, ultimate has become more and more accessible to players, greatly increasing the frequency in which these combat altering abilities can be activated. This allows for strategies that hyper focus on the generation of this resource to amass and creep up over time, creating cases where some ultimates can be activated incredibly quickly. We're going through many sources of the ultimate and converting effects over to the major and minor system, so they still offer powerful bonuses, but with a much more controlled ceiling. We've started with class passives in efforts to make it harder to stack their effects with subclassing in mind, while also trying to mitigate the need to gain this effect from things like scribed abilities or consumables. The thing that kind of concerns me in that statement, it says they've started with class passives. So that means to me, or just the way I took it, I may be completely wrong, that they're still looking at maybe nerfing ultimates even more if this does not do what they're expecting it to do. And like I said at the start of the video, I kind of wondered if something like this was eventually going to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be in this update or not. But with that power creep of subclassing, if you're able to build more into ultimate regen, you can use your ultimate more often. You're already stronger because of subclassing. Of course, the damage ceiling and the power creep was going to go up there. The issue for me, of course, we think about pearls being nerfed not that long ago, so that was something you took away from healers. But just in general with me, with subclassing, I was thinking of it a lot of different ways, and I'd already started on these builds when, of course, the update dropped, or update 46 dropped here on console, of different ways of building my tank and my healers, different ways of building my support classes. Instead of having them do just the one thing that they have done forever, I was trying to make different ways to, kind of implement some unique things in there. Make them more of a, instead of just a tank or a healer, maybe more of a tank healer / DPS, or a tank healer / ultimate regen kind of builds, or more of a tank healer / buffer. Some way to make it a little bit different than what we're used to. Other games have ways that you can create, healers or tanks. And instead of having them just do that one thing, you can make different styles of that particular character, if that makes sense. So I was really looking forward to some of the builds that I had, and I'm just still kind of testing and tweaking them. I have a lot of characters, so I've been working on them slowly but surely. But I was really looking forward to having, and I already had my healer built where it was going to be more of an ultimate regen kind of healer, and I thought that would be some really good support kind of for the group, some good buffs and things there. I was kind of tweaking a tank to be kind of the same thing, a little bit different, but kind of the same thing. And I just hate this because it kind of gets rid of that whole idea of trying to make some of these support characters a little bit more unique, because this is definitely going to hurt that. It's going to hurt just in general having these passives changed. Kind of like I mentioned in the video where I was talking about, the banner bearer kind of being screwed for the Arcanist now. I know a lot of you out there kind of wanted to see that going, and I do agree. I think it needed some tweaks. But at the same time, my biggest complaint about this is I cannot stand when ZOS says one thing and turns around and does the complete opposite, and that's just not them. There's a lot of developers that do that in the gaming industry, sadly. But when they said they were okay with the power creep not that long ago, just within the update 46 patch notes, apparently that really wasn't the case, because all of the quote light changes you have done within update 47 or that you're looking to do, there might not be as many of them. There might not be as many changes as we're used to seeing in the past. But a lot of these changes that are going through are definitely ones that are hurting how much damage people can do. And so that is affecting, of course, the power creep. And the power creep is being toned down with this. So it's something that it kind of confuses me. If they weren't okay with the power creep, I wish they would have just said, hey, we'll look at the power creep. We'll make some adjustments in later updates. Instead of saying we're okay with it and then turning around with the very next update and pretty much destroying that power creep or toning it down. And like I said, I'm fine with that if they would have said it that way, but it's just odd to me the way that it was worded. And I think a lot of people in the community are upset because of that, because a lot of people have come back to playing the game. They have not played in a long time just because of how fun and cool that subclassing sounded. And we all knew that subclassing at some point was going to see a nerf. I'm just worried eventually, so far down the road, they're going to pull another thing they usually do, another ZOS move, in my opinion, and make subclassing so irrelevant that most people just go back to the base class. And then at that point, what was the point of even adding it to the game? Because they have done a lot of stuff like that in the past, where I talked about that in the video yesterday, where they'll put something in, people will go out and purchase the DLC, they'll get the item, it'll be really strong. The kilt was the example I used in that video yesterday. And then after a certain while, they'll nerf the kilt to where it's absolutely unusable. I've kind of waited on them to do that with scribing skills, but they kind of just left scribing on the back burner for now, which is kind of disappointing to me. I was wanting to see more done with that because I thought it was a really unique, cool thing. But I was kind of curious, if they had continued with scribing, was that what's going to happen? Is that what was going to happen to it eventually? And is this what's going to happen to subclassing eventually? You put this new thing in, and of course, I know you didn't have to go out and buy DLC for subclassing. It was a base game feature, but you put this feature in to draw players back into the game, to make people excited about something, to give the game a unique spin, and then later down the road, you completely just obliterate it, and people are just back to running their base normal classes. And if that's what you wanted to begin with, I'm not quite sure why you added subclassing in general. I don't know. It's just a lot of questions I have. Like I said, this update has got some weird things going on in it. Is it absolutely game breaking? Definitely not. Is it odd? Yes, because it's not the direction that I was expecting or hoping to see ZOS go in for the future of ESO. I was expecting and hoping to see something a little bit different, but sadly that's not the case. As of now, it may happen in the future. Who knows? But leave me a comment with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this ultimate regen and kind of ultimate change in general. Like I said, it's an odd one to change all these passives, and I really do hate it out there for the support players. But leave me a comment with your thoughts, and if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.